Hi, welcome everybody. Today we will talk about what is a programmer, what are different programming languages, and finally give a demonstration using Python. So let's start. What is a programmer? Have you ever encountered a situation when you had to explain something to someone whose first language wasn't English? Here we have Samitra. Samitra is doing her grad studies at the physics department of U of T. And she wants to communicate this to her coworker. However, her coworker doesn't really understand English that well enough to receive the message, process it, and give a response. So what can we do? Well, we can hire a translator. A translator will take Samitra's English and turn it into something that her coworker can receive, process, and then receive an output from her. Similarly, Samitra wants to talk to her computer. What Samitra wants now is to have a program that says hello to her whenever she uses her computer and types her name. A special type of translator called a programmer will take Samitra's words and turn it into a type of language that computers can receive, process, and then give an output. Remember, a programmer is a translator that converts words from our language into computer language. So what is a programming language? Well, it's common knowledge that computers understand zeros and ones. We humans cannot understand zeros and ones, but what we can do is to take combinations of this and refer to them using our own alphabet. We do this using a special type of software that is called a compiler. Programming languages such as C, C++, and C# are called compiled languages because to work they go backwards. They count the letters in English and then asking the computer to make the translation to produce a result. In contrast, interpreted languages do not make the transition to translate the zeros and ones into the different letters in the alphabet, but rather have some sort of virtual machine that kind of understands English so that they can receive the messages and run the application directly. Programming languages that fit this criterion are called interpreted languages, and some big examples out there are Python and JavaScript. So let's take a quick look at how we can build Samitra's program using our code in Python. The first thing that we always need to think about is who is going to take a look at our code next. So we are going to write a comment to the next person describing what our program does. So what this program does is printing the hello Samitra if the name is Samitra. Next, we define the name, a variable called name. A variable is a vessel, a block of information that we will need further and later in the code. Lastly, we create a comparison to see if whatever the user types is the same as the name that we have in the storage, and if it is, that means that this is Samitra who's typing in her computer, and therefore we can read her. And that's the end of our code. To test it, we need to run it. Here down, the computer is asking us for an input, which we give is going to be Samitra, and if we run the program to completion, sure enough, going back to the top, we will notice that there is a text that says hello Samitra. So that is how easy it is to build programs using Python. Remember, a programming language is a tool that allows humans to communicate with the symbols that computers can understand. So let's summarize what we learned today. First, we define a programmer as a special type of translator that helps people communicate with machines. A programming language is a way for the programmer to communicate these instructions to the machine. And there are two main types of programming languages, called compiled and interpreted. Finally, we saw the example of Python, an interpreted language, as a great tool to start learning code because it is intuitive and easy to use.